The following has been a Shirt Off Your Back production. ShirtOffYourBackAZ.com. Hello and welcome to the Shirt Off Your Back podcast, where if nothing changes, then nothing changes. This is episode 2, entitled If Nothing Changes, Then Nothing Changes. Last week we talked about how to create sustainable change. This week we're going to talk about how to get results, how to set goals, how to work towards something, if it's something financial, if it's something physical, you're trying to eat better, lose some weight, exercise, save up some money. This is sort of a practice and a process that can work across different domains. So I want to start out by saying you should focus on the process and not the results. And that might sound backwards, but I'll explain it a little bit as we go. You cannot do the same thing over and over and expect your life to change. So of course, life isn't as simple as a series of inputs and outputs. But often enough, I think you get out what you put in. Maybe, 75 to 80% of the time, you get out of life what you put into it. If you work really hard towards something, you're going to get some kind of results. You're going to get some kind of raise. You're going to lose weight. You're going to build muscle. It may not work out exactly the way you want it to, but you're going to get some results. I think the key to getting results is focusing on the process and not the results. And here's why. Because results are downstream from a process. So having your focus on the results can result in you neglecting the process. And of course, the process may not, like I said, it may not produce the intended results, but you can make adjustments to the process until you get the results you want, right? You can fine tune things. Well, I did 6,000 steps this week and I really didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to. Maybe next week I can step it up to 10,000. And you can start to work through different barriers. And what's going to prevent me from getting those 10,000 steps? Well, I've been having a hard time sleeping and I need to get up earlier. So you might choose to set your alarm a little bit earlier, try to get to bed a little bit earlier, and you can fine tune and adjust things along the way to sort of support that process. So focus on the process, not the results. Change your behavior. And again, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. So you can't hit the snooze alarm and stop to grab fast food on the way to work, eat it while you're driving, and expect to lose weight. You can make a change and wake up 10 minutes earlier and eat some fruit for breakfast. So you think about that one little change, you think, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. It's one breakfast. Right, it's one breakfast, but compound that breakfast over the course of a week. Then that's 5, 6, 7 breakfasts, however many days a week you're eating breakfast. But you compound those little changes over the course of a week, and that adds up to one big change. Flip that around, you might think that one little change of getting up earlier and eating a healthy breakfast in the morning won't make that much of a difference. And you'd be right if you were talking about one morning here and there. But even if it is one morning here and there, that's still better than zero change. That's better than no change at all. And again, all those several small changes, similar to this one, have a way of compounding over time. You might take the stairs instead of the elevator. You might park further away and walk to the office or the store or wherever it is you're going. You might get up from your desk 10 minutes every hour and go for a short walk and then come back to your desk and start working. What I do is at the 50 of every hour, I get up from the desk, I go for a little walk, and I come back at the top of the hour and I start working again. Now, your job may not lend itself to allow you to do that, but use that as an example and find ways to sort of fine tune your day to make those choices, to make those behavior changes that align with your goals. All of those small changes in tandem, they can and will work together to create change. And then you can adjust if necessary. So suppose you are trying to lose weight and you have a certain calorie budget. Stick to that budget long enough to determine if it is producing results. I don't know, I can't say exactly how long that is, but I can promise you it's more than like 2 days, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I've been eating healthy for 2 days and I haven't lost any weight. It's been 2 days. Give it at least a week. I would say at least a week and see if you're getting some results. And be as routine as possible with exercise and movement. And that way you can establish a baseline. So what happens a lot is people say, well, I'm averaging 1,500 calories a day. And I go, okay, what do you mean by averaging 1,500 a day? And when we start to break it down and they're eating like 800 on Monday and then 1,600 on Tuesday and then 500 on Wednesday and then 1,500, and you add all those up and divide them by 7 and you get 1,500. And I suggest to them, why don't you try to get as close to 1,500 every day as possible? Every single day as possible, and average 1,500 every single day instead of over the course of the week, right? And that way at least you have a solid baseline and you're doing the same thing every day and you have something to adjust, right? Because if everything is different every day, then there's nothing to adjust because there's no baseline. And when you do make changes, if you do establish that baseline and you do end up deciding, okay, this doesn't work, I need to tweak this a little bit, I need to make some changes here, make some changes there. Make small incremental adjustments wherever an adjustment is needed, right? Don't go from eating 1,500 calories all the way down to 800. Step it down to 1,400 or bump it up to 1,600 or something like that. And you may think those 100 calories don't make that much of a difference. But again, over the course of a week, that's 500, 600, 700 calories. A 5-day work week, 6-day work week, 7-day work week. That's going to be 500, 600, 700 calories over the course of the week. So those little changes, again, are going to add up. And it's going to take time. It's always going to take longer than you want it to. There's going to be lots of ups and downs. People look at things like weight loss. They look at financial investments and they want things to happen really quickly, right? But if you have money in the stock market, generally, you might have some stocks that you tend to be a little bit more aggressive with, but generally you are going to want to be in it for the long term, right? And there's going to be ups and downs, but as long as you're trending upward over the course of time, you're doing something right. You're making money. It's the same thing with the scale, except the opposite. You're going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, but as long as you are trending downward over the course of time, over the course of a week, over the course of a month, those little peaks and valleys are going to be a lot easier to deal with. If you can look at your weight over the course of a month and say, okay, I was at 200, now I'm at 190. I lost 10 pounds this month. There was a lot of up and down, but over the course of time, the trend line was going down. And what might be even more important here, make those incremental adjustments, but what might be even more important here is noticing what behaviors allowed you to stick to that calorie budget and get that exercise. So again, if you decided, okay, I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual and I'm going to go for a walk, understand that decision to wake up 30 minutes earlier allowed you to take that walk. You might notice you need more or less time, fine. Adjust it if necessary. You might say, I don't need a half an hour, I only need 15 minutes. But really understand that choice to wake up 30 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier, whatever it is, allowed you to go for that walk, right? You made an adjustment and that adjustment allowed you to make another change, right? So that change begets another change. Again, results are downstream from a process. That's why you focus on the process and not the results. One choice begets another choice. One change begets another change. If you decide to hit snooze and oversleep, you're going to end up grabbing fast food, right? And you might, over the course of time, end up grabbing fast food 3, 4, 5 mornings every week. And over the course of a month, you're like, oh, wow, I gained 5 pounds. How did that happen? Well, you stopped and grabbed fast food every day, ate it while you were sitting at your desk or in your car. And I'm not saying don't eat fast food. I eat fast food. But understand that choice is going to have some effect on you, right? And I refer to these as fast food problems because you oversleep or you don't wake up as early as you think you might like, and you're in a rush, you get ready, get in your car, you start driving to work, you drive through McDonald's drive-through, get a sausage McMuffin with egg. I absolutely love sausage McMuffins with egg. I could eat them all the time, but I don't. But let's say you do that again. You do that 3, 4, 5 times a week. You're going to start gaining weight. I call these fast food problems because all you have to do to stop doing that is wake up 10 minutes earlier and grab a banana and eat it on the way to work. Instead of, you may not even have to get up 10 minutes earlier. Grab a banana, grab a piece of fruit, get up a few minutes earlier and make yourself something healthy. And I call those fast food problems because they compound over time, right? You sleep in, you grab fast food, you gain weight. You sleep in, you grab fast food, you gain weight. You sleep in, you grab fast food, you gain weight. And then when you gain weight, that creates other problems for you too, right? Your health starts to decline. Maybe your insurance at work goes up because your health starts to decline and you start having some more health issues. Your doctor visits are going to be increasingly stressful because you might get bad news. Hey, you have high cholesterol. Hey, you're pre-diabetic. You need to start eating better. You need to start exercising. When all you had to do, and I shouldn't say all you had to do because it's easier said than done, but, and problems tend to be a little bit more complex than just making a change and seeing results. Again, that's why you should focus on the results. But it's not as simple as waking up earlier, but it is at the same time, right? You wake up earlier, you eat a healthy breakfast, you go to work. And the nice thing about creating those habits and making those choices is it gets easier over time. Each time you make that decision, you say, okay, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to drink that soda. Those choices get easier over time. And also what happens when you do have a slip, if you say, you know what, I'm going to quit drinking soda. And then after 3-4 weeks in, you're really craving a soda and you have one, you're not going to feel as guilty because you know that you're in control and you know that you've been making good choices, right? It gets easier to make good choices over time and it gets easier to overcome it when you make a choice that doesn't necessarily align with your goal. So whenever possible, avoid creating those fast food problems for yourself. Remember, those small choices tend to compound, and a fast food problem is a compounded problem. So, I mentioned this episode is called If Nothing Changes, If Nothing Changes. I have shirts for sale to help support my coaching and weight loss little endeavor here. They're red heather shirt in like the sort of a college font on the front. They say if nothing changes, nothing changes. And there's a square on the back and it says shirt kind of in the bottom right-hand corner of the square. And I was actually wearing this shirt at the gym, and a guy was reading the back of my shirt, and he was kind of looking at me, and I could see him in the mirror. I was on a bench, and I could see him in the mirror, and he was kind of looking at me, and I was like, okay, he might be reading my shirt because it has a lot of words on it on the front. But he was actually reading the back, and he said, hey, what's that shirt? And I kind of explained to him, what I do and what it means. And he's like, oh, that's cool. He said, I kept looking at it, and I thought it said shit on the back. And I was like, no, it says shirt. I'm like the name of the company's shirt off your back. And I create some shirts to help support the work and just generate some extra income and, do fitness and weight loss and behavioral health and stuff like that. So it was pretty funny, but people notice it when you're wearing a shirt with a lot of words on the front. People notice, they end up reading it. And a lot of times they end up asking you what it means. So if nothing changes, nothing changes. You cannot hit snooze, stop to grab fast food on the way to work, eat it while driving, and expect to lose weight. You can make a change, however. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, make yourself a nice little breakfast. Greek yogurt, fruit, maybe a little bit of granola sprinkled in. Make those healthy choices one day at a time, and it gets that much easier. Again, I want to thank everybody that's continued to support me and listen to these podcasts and share them. And I think I finally got a pretty solid direction of where I want to go with this. And now that I'm completely finished with school and I'm really in a groove with work and I have a nice routine set up throughout my week, I'm getting into a little groove with these podcasts and my blog and everything like that, and just keeping some of the content on the website current and trying to get a podcast at least 2 or 3 times a month out to everybody just on behavior changes, because that's what it's all about, right? If you can change your behavior and make healthy choices, you're going to get healthy results, right? And if you can focus on that process of making those choices, the results will happen naturally, right? Because the results are downstream from that process. Weight loss is downstream from the breakfast you choose to eat, the lunch you choose to eat, the dinner you choose to eat, whether or not you choose to go to the gym. Weight loss is going to happen downstream. Keep that focus, on the results out in the horizon, but in your near focus, in your near vision, focus on that process and fine tune accordingly. Again, thank you for listening. Thanks for checking us out, and hope you guys find some success, whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is you're trying to do. I really do hope you find some success. I recently, my church has a college group. I recently spoke at the college group briefly and just kind of mentioned to them, what I do, and I'm trying to work out a program for college students as well, helping them develop some career goals and some educational goals, some health and wellness goals, and really fine tune that process and see what that looks like as well. So I got a lot of different things going on, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So again, thank you so much, and we hope to see you next time.